boy. Yeah, tough time for the blacks.
Dave Chappelle, one of the greatest comedians of our time, has finally spoken out about Jimmy Kimmel's jokes at the 2023 Oscars. But before we dive into Chappelle's reaction, let's take a look at what happened during Kimmel's opening monologue. As you may recall, last year's Oscars were marred by an incident involving Will Smith and Chris Rock. Rock made a joke about Smith's wife, Jada Pinkett Smith, which didn't sit well with the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air star. Smith then proceeded to slap Rock in front of the entire audience. Fast forward to this year's ceremony, and Kimmel wasted no time in addressing the elephant in the room. He started off with a joke about the 5 Irish actors nominated for awards, saying that the chances of a fight breaking out had increased. He then went on to reassure the audience that the Oscars had strict policies in place to prevent any acts of violence. But Kimmel couldn't resist poking fun at last year's incident, saying that if anyone did commit an act of aggression, they would be awarded the Oscar for Best Actor and given 19 minutes to give an acceptance speech. He also joked that if anyone got mad at a joke and wanted to fight, it wouldn't be easy due to the presence of fighters like Michael B. Jordan and Michelle Yeoh in the audience. Later on in the evening, as the show was approaching the 2-hour mark, Kimmel quipped that it made him miss the slapping incident a little bit. And at the end of the broadcast, he flipped a sign that read number of Oscars telecasts without incident from 0 to 1. But Kimmel didn't just make jokes about the slapping incident. He also took aim at some of Hollywood's biggest names, including Tom Cruise, James Cameron, and Steven Spielberg. Kimmel joked that Cruise and Cameron, who had both insisted on going to the theater during the lockdown, didn't show up for the ceremony. He also poked fun at Cameron's snub in the Best Director category for Avatar: The Way of Water, saying that the Academy must not have thought he was a woman. And he referenced a viral interview with Spielberg in which the director claimed to have never smoked, saying that he must have been high when he made it. But what did Dave Chappelle, one of the greatest comedians of our time, think about Kimmel's jokes?
I'm not going to say nothing about the police. I'll leave that for Chris Rock.
Although Dave Chappelle was not present at the 2023 Oscars, sources close to the comedian revealed how he reacted to Jimmy Kimmel's jokes. According to these sources, Chappelle found Kimmel's jokes about Will Smith's slap incident to be distasteful and insensitive. Chappelle, who is known for his own controversial humor, felt that Kimmel crossed a line by making light of an incident that had caused significant controversy and hurt. The sources stated that Chappelle believed that humor should be used to bring people together rather than to further divide them. While Chappelle may have disagreed with Kimmel's approach to humor, he did not condemn the host or the Academy for allowing such jokes to be made. Instead, Chappelle recognized that comedy is subjective and that what one person finds funny may not be the same as what another person finds amusing. Despite his disappointment with certain aspects of the Oscars, Chappelle remained focused on his own work. The sources stated that Chappelle was continuing to write and perform, always pushing himself to create new and daring material. But this is not it. We know that Chappelle is no stranger to controversy himself, having made jokes about everything from race to politics in his stand-up routines. In fact, Chappelle's ability to tackle sensitive topics with humor and grace is part of what makes him such a beloved figure in the comedy world. And while he found some parts of Kimmel's jokes about the slapping incident in poor taste, he also saw them as just another example of how comedy can help us laugh at ourselves and move past our mistakes. As we know, Chappelle has been no stranger to controversy himself, with his Netflix special The Closer causing outrage and calls for boycotts from some members of different groups. But Chappelle has always stood by his jokes, insisting that comedy is meant to be provocative and push boundaries. It's clear that Chappelle sees a comedic spirit in Kimmel, who has also faced backlash for his jokes in the past. Kimmel has been criticized for his use of face in past sketches and for jokes that some deemed offensive toward women. But both Chappelle and Kimmel seem unfazed by the criticism and continue to push boundaries in their comedy. They both believe that humor is a way to address uncomfortable topics and bring people together, even if it means ruffling a few feathers along the way. Overall, while Chappelle may have found certain aspects of the 2023 Oscars to be disappointing, he remained committed to his craft and his belief in the power of humor to bring people together. On the other hand, we also know that Chris Rock recently hosted a comedy special on Netflix where he went all out against the Smiths and others, including making jokes about the incident at the Oscars. And Dave Chappelle has also given his opinion on it.
Was that Will Smith?
So, in his Netflix special, Chris Rock blasted the Smiths for their bad blood that led to Will Smith slapping him at the Oscars. He mocked the Smiths' entanglement situation, referring to Jada Pinkett Smith's relationship with August Alsina. He accused Will Smith of practicing selective outrage and claimed that he had nothing to do with the incident. Chris Rock also revealed that he did not understand the actions that Will and Jada took to resolve their issues publicly through their Red Table Talk episode. He criticized the couple's decision to air their dirty laundry in public and questioned why they would do something that slowed them down. He even joked that he watched Will Smith's new film, Emancipation, just to see him get whooped. Apart from his remarks on the Smiths, Chris Rock also made jokes about O.J. Simpson and Robert Kardashian during his comedy special. He joked that Simpson got away with an incident and referred to Kardashian's daughters as crazy due to the men they were involved with. And now, sources close to Dave Chappelle say that he had a hearty laugh when he saw Chris Rock's Netflix show. According to those who know him well, Dave was particularly amused by Chris' jokes about everything in the show. Dave loves a good laugh and Chris' show had him cracking up, said one insider. This lighthearted reaction comes as no surprise, as Dave is known for his great sense of humor and his ability to appreciate the comedic talents of his peers. In fact, he has even been known to laugh at himself and take criticism in stride, as evidenced by his reaction to Jimmy Kimmel's roast of Will Smith at the Oscars 2023. And in another related news, according to sources close to Howard Stern, the radio personality recently expressed his frustration with Hollywood's apparent double standard in treating Dave Chappelle's attacker versus Will Smith. Stern allegedly criticized the way Smith was consoled after the incident, while Dave Chappelle's attacker was beaten and arrested. During a recent episode of The Howard Stern Show, the 68-year-old shock jock ranted about the incident where Isaiah Lee tackled Chappelle during a festival and questioned why the same treatment was not given to Will Smith. Stern reportedly found it hypocritical that A-list celebrities, including Chris Rock and Jamie Foxx, rushed to help Chappelle while Smith received consolation from the audience. Stern's comments reflect a growing sentiment in the entertainment industry that standards should be consistent, regardless of the celebrity involved. It's true that Will Smith received completely different treatment from Dave Chappelle's attacker. At the Oscar Awards, Smith slapped Chris Rock for making a joke about his wife's condition. Despite this, Smith was allowed to remain at the event and receive a standing ovation when he won Best Actor. In contrast to Chappelle's attack, Smith was comforted by other celebrities, not his victim. While some might argue that an Oscar-winning actor would naturally be treated differently than a non-celebrity, Howard Stern disagrees. He believes that Hollywood should have treated Smith no differently than they treated Chappelle's attacker. At the Oscars, Smith received a standing ovation after the attack, which Stern finds troubling. He maintains that the audience should have been ashamed of themselves and called out the hypocrisy of the situation. Stern believes that the discrepancy in consequences is a perfect example of how messed up Hollywood can be. While Smith did receive a ban from the Academy Awards ceremony, it's worth noting that it was only a 10-year ban, which some may see as a lenient punishment considering the severity of the incident. So what are your thoughts on Dave Chappelle's reaction to this recent incident? And do you think Jimmy Kimmel did the right thing by roasting Will Smith? Let me know in the comments section below. And if you ever need to satisfy your gossip cravings or simply want to know what to anticipate from your favorite stars and movie series, don't forget to subscribe to my channel.